I get it. When you're scrolling through endless options for high-tech optics, the fear of dropping a few $100 on something that ends up gathering dust is real. You've probably read a handful of glossy ads that promise unmatched clarity and all-weather capability, and you're left wondering if any of that actually translates to a night out in the field, a weekend wildlife watch, or a tactical drill. That hesitation is exactly why I'm digging into the Pulsar merger duo NXP50, because the last thing you want is a gadget that looks impressive on paper but falls flat when you actually need it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's set the scene. You're someone who spends evenings on the trail, maybe hunting, maybe just photographing nocturnal animals, or perhaps you're a security professional who needs reliable vision in total darkness. In all those cases, you need a device that can switch quickly between what you see and what you need to see. The Merger Duo is marketed as a hybrid that fuses thermal imaging with digital night vision into a single binocular package. That's a big claim, and the real question is whether the hybrid approach actually saves you from swapping gear or compromises something essential. Who should consider buying this? If you're already comfortable juggling separate thermal scopes and night vision goggles, you might think you're covered. But if you've ever been frustrated by the time it takes to swap lenses or the extra weight of carrying two separate units, the Merger Duo could be a game changer. It shines for people who need to make rapid decisions. Think wildlife researchers tracking animals that move between warm-blood and cold-blooded phases, or tactical teams that have to identify both heat signatures and low-light details without fiddling with equipment. The combined viewing modes let you overlay thermal data onto a digital night vision image, giving you a richer picture of the environment. In practice, that means you could be watching a deer's outline in the thermal layer while still seeing the surrounding foliage in the digital layer, helping you gauge distance and movement more accurately. Now, who should probably pass on this? If your budget is tight and you only need a single mode, say you're purely a night vision photographer and you never need thermal, then a dedicated digital night vision monocular or binocular will likely give you more bang for the buck. The Merger Duo's hybrid system adds complexity and cost, so if you're happy with one technology, you're paying extra for something you won't use. Also, if you're a casual backyard observer who only steps outside once a month, the learning curve of toggling between modes might feel like overkill. The device's weight, while reasonable for a dual-sensor system, is still more than a single-purpose binocular, so long hikes could become a bit more tiring. Let's talk about the practical strengths. The first thing that stood out in the hands-on impressions from people who have actually taken the Merger Duo into the field is the ease of switching between modes. There's a dedicated button that toggles between thermal only, digital only, and the merged view. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're on a wildlife preserve at dusk. The thermal sensor picks up the heat of an animal hidden in the underbrush, while the digital overlay shows you the exact shape of nearby branches. That extra context can be the difference between a clear shot and a missed opportunity. The multispectral claim isn't just marketing fluff, it actually lets you see beyond what a single sensor would reveal. Another strength is the range of observation modes. The unit supports picture-in-picture, where you can keep a small thermal window inside a larger digital view, and a side-by-side split that lets you compare the two streams simultaneously. For a security guard patrolling a perimeter at night, this dual perspective can help differentiate between a warm-bodied intruder and a harmless heat source like a stray cat, without losing the context of the surrounding area. The ability to zoom digitally without losing the merged view also means you can focus on a distant object while still retaining the thermal cue. On the downside, there are a couple of practical trade-offs that matter after the purchase. The first is battery life. Because you're powering two imaging systems at once, the batteries drain faster than a single-mode night vision unit. In field tests, users reported needing to swap batteries after about an hour of continuous mixed-mode use. That's fine if you plan short excursions, but for longer surveillance missions you'll need a spare pack or a portable charger, which adds extra gear. The second weakness is the learning curve. The interface is intuitive once you've spent a few minutes with it, but the first time you try to merge the images you might find the picture a bit busy. The overlay can sometimes wash out fine details if the thermal contrast is too strong, so you'll need to adjust the blend setting to get the sweet spot for your specific environment. It's not a deal breaker, but it does mean you have to spend a few minutes calibrating before you feel confident.